So it is a very simple bill. It protects IVF. It prohibits any state from banning IVF. And the reason we did it is, as you remember, the Alabama Supreme Court several months ago had a decision that was widely covered nationally as threatening IVF. What actually happened there was a couple who wanted to have kids and had embryos frozen in a clinic. That clinic was negligent in protecting them, and someone ended up destroying the embryos against the couple's wishes. And so they brought a lawsuit because they were mad at the clinic for destroying their embryos. They didn't want them destroyed. And the Alabama Supreme Court ruled in favor of the couple. Well, immediately that was interpreted by a lot of people who frankly had political agendas, a lot of Democrats with an agenda, a lot of people in the media, as saying these are crazy right-wing Republicans that are trying to get rid of IVF. Now, the Alabama legislature immediately stepped in and passed a law clarifying no, IVF is perfectly legal in the state of Alabama. But that has not stopped Democrats across the country from wrongly claiming that there are Republicans who want to take away IVF.
I still can't believe this beautiful girl is ours.
Our little IVF miracle.
Hey.
Sorry, she's not yours anymore.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. We made IVF illegal, and we're not letting you criminals raise her.
You're gonna do this. She's our baby.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. If you want a baby, you have to make one the old-fashioned way, and I'll be watching.
So Katie and I teamed up to draft this bill, and it's a very simple bill that says if a state receives Medicaid funding, that they cannot bar IVF, that a state can and a local government can't, that it is a federal right, that you are entitled to have access to this technology and a state cannot bar it. And we drafted it because both of us strongly and unequivocally support IVF. I think IVF is a miracle. I mean, it has given 2% of all live births in America come from IVF. We've seen now over 8 million children born from IVF. And the beauty of being able to give parents the chance to have a child when they couldn't otherwise, to have a little girl, have a little boy to raise with love. I think IVF is profoundly pro-family. And so we drafted this together to put into federal legislation a protection, and a protection that is there. And importantly also, this gives an opportunity for Democrats to decide.
It does.
Where do they stand?
That's right.
Because what we're seeing is Democrats, look, part of the reasons Democrats are leaning in on this issue so aggressively is because their position on abortion is really extreme. Our colleagues in the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate, every single one of them without exception, supports unlimited abortion on demand literally up to the moment of birth, in the 39th or 40th week partial birth abortion. Now, as you know, that is a radical and extreme position.
Absolutely.
9% of Americans nationally support that position. 91% of Americans, the majority of people who consider themselves pro-choice, say, look, abortions in the 39th and 40th week, that is crazy. No, that's too much. Every single Senate Democrat has voted in favor of that position of striking down any limitation on abortion. So they don't want to talk about that. So what do they talk about instead? What they talk about instead is they say those mean, bad Republicans want to take away IVF.
One ruling.
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
extrapolate to all Republicans.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Does the bill pass, do you think? Because the Democrats should want this, but they're not going to want to give you the win.
That's right. But they should absolutely want this because this protects IVF. It protects people's opportunity to bring life into the world, to grow their families. And that's what we're all about. And that's what the Democrats say that they're for IVF. So I think they have an opportunity to show it and being part of this.
What do you hear so far?
So on the merits, this should be 100-0. Because every senator supports IVF, every Republican, every Democrat senator. We're going to try to pass it. The question, and we don't know yet, is what are the Democrats going to do? On the substance, they don't have any issue with it, but they might very cynically block it because they want an issue in November rather than actually pass the law. But, you know, Katie, I would love for you to tell the story of, so the reason we partnered on this, it's actually kind of a cool story inside the Senate. So at our Senate lunches, right after the Alabama Supreme Court decisions came out, Katie stood up at lunch and gave this impassioned speech telling what happened that day. Would you share that story?
So I happened to be, it was state work period, so I was home. So on that Wednesday when the ruling came down, I went to a soccer game. And, you know, soccer games last forever. And as I was there, it would be parent after parent, man after woman coming and saying, what's happening? What's going on? There was a lot of confusion swirling and a lot of uncertainty. The next day, I went to Birmingham, and at a lunch, I had 3 women come up to me, 2 together, 1 different, with tears streaming down their face because they were in the middle of the IVF process. And that for them had been halted. And then, went on to another soccer game that night and was inundated, didn't get to watch my son at all. And so you could feel it. I started getting calls from friends and who said, this is my journey, and my sister is about to have implantation, and we've gone through all of these things. And that these people are holding on to the possibility of being able to be a part of the miracle of life. And it was clear that we needed to give absolute certainty to that. I was really grateful to President Trump for speaking so decisively on IVF.
Absolutely.
That was huge.
Yep.
And then the Alabama legislature for quickly acting. And the Alabama legislature is the most conservative legislature in the nation.
This is not
so they
California.
They quickly acted to make sure that they knew that we were going to protect women's rights, couples' rights to IVF. And
I think this is very smart. It not only does it, what you did in Alabama, restore people's rights when it comes to IVF, but you're sending a message to everybody that the caricature that's being painted of Republicans on this. Let me tell you a story about a guy named Leo Grillo. Leo was on a road trip and came across a Doberman. This dog was severely underweight and clearly in trouble. Leo rescued the dog and named him Delta. But sadly, Delta was just one of many animals that needed help, and this inspired Leo to start Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill, care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. They've rescued thousands of dogs, cats, and horses from the wilderness, and they provide their animals with shelter, love, safety, a home. April marks 45 years since Leo rescued Delta. Delta Rescue relies solely on contributions. If you want caring for these animals to be part of your legacy, speak with your estate planner because there are tax benefits here too. You can grow your estate while letting your love for animals live well into the future. Check out the estate planning tab on their website to learn more and speak with your advisor. We call dog a man's best friend for a reason. You can help those who need it most. Visit deltarescue.org today to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.